Everybody, welcome back to Crypto Forever. Okay, we reported yesterday that there were indeed stirrings in the market in a good way, with the bulls returning. And it looks like we got something of a Santa rally happening in crypto land. Bitcoin is attacking 4,000. We haven't quite got there yet, but on CMC, we're at $3,833, up 8% over the past 24 hours. Bitcoin Cash, that's another surprise. That's just leapt above EOS. Is up 38% today, but if you back that up a little bit, over the past 4 days, it has risen 80%. That's right, 80%. And once upon a time, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV were pretty close together in the table, with Bitcoin SV behind by about $10 up until today. And look at the gap that's opened up now. Bitcoin SV is languishing at 92.81. We'll come back to that story in a moment, but let's take a look at the technicals on this one for Bitcoin, and it is looking good, but let's not get too excited just yet. But anyway, just remind ourselves, once we were mentioning Bitcoin Cash, we're actually looking at the BTC USD 1 day on Bitstamp. And when the fork happened on the 14th of November, that is what triggered the crash in the price of Bitcoin, plummeting from 6,400 to the lowly 3,000s, as you can see on the chart. And that has created what some might describe as a descending triangle. And the breakout has been quite dramatic. Take a look there at that. And that is happening with some pretty strong volume. Bitcoin market cap was saying, right, let's have another look actually. I think volume's up to like 6 billion, over 6 billion, compared to the average of recent times of around 4 billion. So that's putting some oomph behind the Santa rally, without a doubt. All right. Okay. Let me just check the volume at the moment. Wow, we're almost at 7,000. That is very, very strong, which gives us a bit more faith in the sustainability of this rally. And we are closing in on the first resistance, which is a psychological one more than a technical one, which is obviously at 4,000. And let's take a look at that wick. We almost got there, 3,932. So look out for breaking there, getting through a first resistance, and then a second intermediary resistance, I would say, at 4,355 or thereabouts, which is the bottom of this candle, the third of the 3 huge candles that saw the price crash down to the 4,000s. 1, 2, 3, bottom of that candle. Okay, and if we get past there, then there's a strong possibility of seeing a run up into Christmas that gets us back to 6,000s. And the red line we're showing is the 50-day EMA exponential moving average. And of course, we want to see a movement above the moving average. And the last time we saw that, the 50-day moving average, that is, exponential moving average, was back in September. Okay, so look out for hitting 4,000 over the next, for the rest of this session. I'm speaking at around 6:30 GMT, and that's looking quite exciting. Let's see what Asia puts into the mix later. Okay, let's just go back and look at briefly some of what's behind some of this news. And I think we'd also just have to point out, before we get all too excited about the price movement today on Bitcoin, is the velocity. A lot of that is down to short squeeze, with the short sellers being forced to liquidate positions, so the shorts become longs. So a bit of that has been going on, I think it's fair to say. And Matty Greenspan, he gets about. I'm meant to be seeing them tonight, eToro Drinks, but I'm not going to make it. Yeah, that's in London, by the way, the drinks. But anyway, yeah, so let me just tell you what he's been saying about it, just for those wondering what's causing crypto's impressive push from the floor this morning. Look no further than short covering. People are looking to reduce their exposure and closing out high-risk sell positions before the holidays, and this is creating upward pressure on market prices, which is ultimately resulting in a rally, says Matty Greenspan, senior market analyst at eToro. If you don't know what eToro is, their investment platform that got its name from social trading, where you can follow a trader. And they've got a couple of star traders there who've been quite big on crypto. Jay, I can't remember his full nickname. I spoke to him once on the phone for an interview way back before the big run up in Bitcoin price. Yeah, it's an interesting platform actually. But they use CFDs to get the exposure to. They did use CFDs to get their exposure to crypto. I think they've now changed that setup. Okay. Yeah, so bear that in mind, that there was a bit of short covering going on here, but nevertheless, it's encouraging. And I would just like to draw people's attention, as I did yesterday, but I think it's just worth pointing out again, Vice Ratings from the US, well-respected equity ratings agency, and they put out their buy call on the 11th of December, saying the price was getting so ridiculously low, but it presented a very good buying opportunity. In fact, the best buying opportunities of the year. And that seems to be playing out for the moment. Okay, and let's talk about Bitcoin Cash. What is going on there? As you know, Bitmain are doing their IPO. So there was some talk, lots of rumours that they are facing financial difficulties, bleeding money at exactly the wrong time. But the reversal in the fortunes of Bitcoin Cash, of which it is one of the key supporters, should be brought into the mix. And the position of Bitcoin SV at 92.81. Now, it looks like they've well and truly lost the battle unless something changes. And Calvin Ayre, who is a backer of Bitcoin SV, along with Craig Wright of nChain. Ayre was talking about Bitcoin having a valuation, future valuation of zero, because it has no utility, because it doesn't scale. And Bitcoin SV are talking about building a platform that scales massively, even better than Visa. But that's a long way off. And in the meantime, they've got to try and stay in the game. They've been doing that with chucking hash power at the Bitcoin SV network. But they seem to be losing. So it's difficult to say what is actually driving the Bitcoin Cash buying here, unless there are some whales in the Bitcoin Cash community, if you can call it that, be it Roger Ver, be it Bitmain, Jihan and Bitmain, who are pushing the price up. Okay. Let's just move on a bit. I don't want to make this too long, so I think the last video we did was an hour and a half, which might be a little bit too long. And along with Vice Ratings effectively calling a bottom, Mike Novogratz, hedge funds man, Galaxy Digital, he says he sees the bottom coming for Bitcoin. I'm just trying to find where he actually says that in here. So at the top, I've just gone past it. Was it on FX Street? Okay, but anyway, he has made a call, which I think is a reasonable bet. Forbes had an interesting article on Bitcoin Cash and the Bitcoin SV fight with a headline, Bitcoin SV's nightmare could be coming true, but you read through the article and it's not really offering us any particular insights into what's going on. But I have a contact inside the Bitcoin SV community who I communicate with on a regular basis. And I asked them about the controversy surrounding double spending. And I can just find the story we want from Rezu out of Spain. He posted a video a couple of weeks back now, claiming to have been able to effect double spending on the Bitcoin SV chain. And it sounds valid what he's done. He's been able to pull this off. By exploiting the race condition, which is basically when something you don't expect to happen happens, in terms of from the point of view of the person that wrote the code. And they're using the whole around zero conf, which is zero confirmations. protocol. And because Bitcoin SV is using, to all intents and purposes, the Bitcoin protocol, it's kept, unlike Bitcoin Cash, it hasn't protected itself against the possibility of exploiting that. And he did it by targeting the nodes that were the mining nodes, and he managed to work out that 34% of the hash rate is only coming from one node. 75% of the hash rate is from 4 nodes. I put this to people at nChain. There's a reply. Interesting. I'll forward it to the dev team, see what they have to say. Yeah, BCH is being sued. The new checkpoint system they are using, it's no longer a decentralized currency. Completely defeats the point of having a blockchain that isn't controlled by one group. People can make the same argument about BSV, but all BSV is Bitcoin version 0.1. The double spending vulnerability is because of how few mining nodes are on the network. Yeah, right. Granted, it is a valid point, but there's no way that this guy would be able to use his software to attempt a double spend once the network surpasses a few thousand nodes. Yeah, but when is the network going to pass a few thousand nodes? It's a question there, isn't it? His attack relies on being able to identify the handful of mining nodes with the most hash rate. He continues, our insider. And I can't say what he continues with. I don't want to expose him to breaking his NDA or her. Okay. Suffice to say then, Bitcoin SV has some problems, despite the announcements at the CoinGeek conference about their wonderful plans for mega scaling. Okay. So Bitcoin Cash is now up. So I said, is it 80% in the past 4 days? That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. There's not much info here, really. It's just on NewsBTC, and just before we round things up on what is a pretty exciting day in crypto, the latest from Coinbase in their 12 days of Christmas promotion was the news that broke yesterday when they added 4 new crypto. DAI, Golem, Maker, and Zilliqa, all added to Coinbase Pro, and they are adding at a steady clip, that has to be said. So we look forward to what's happening over the next 3 days, because the announcements seem to be getting juicier and juicier. Some people are expecting XRP to pop up on one of the next 3 days of announcements. That would be quite exciting, to say the least. And whilst we're on Coinbase, this popped up on the phone today, which was published about half an hour ago or so. I thought it was going to update that for me, it didn't. Why? And anyway, Coinbase is thought to be one of the largest holders of crypto in the world. In fact, I think they are probably the largest holders of crypto in the world. Take a listen to this. Coinbase recently moved 5% of all BTC, 8% of all ETH, and 25% of all LTC in circulation. They've just upgraded their cold storage security from generation 3 to generation 4. It's all here. Well, that's pretty impressive, and they've done it with no security leak. Honestly, if there was any security issues, we probably wouldn't be hearing about them from Coinbase. That could be a killer. But anyway, on the contrary, they are proving themselves to be a rock-solid organisation from the point of view of security, which of course really does matter in crypto land, where many exchanges are still using insecure practices in their operations. So that's worthy of note. And just to finish up here, let's talk about Venezuela. We spoke about it yesterday, and how in developing markets, crypto might distress developing markets, which I think Venezuela would be the most distressed. Crypto could get its first serious footholds in terms of adoption as a means of payment. So this CoinDesk headline caught the eye. Venezuela isn't the crypto use case you want it to be. And really what Lee is arguing here is that people are using crypto and have been forced to do so because of the state-issued Petro and projects like Dash that have been pushing quite aggressively in the country, where the economy is imploding under the weight of US sanctions. Others would say under the weight of mismanagement, blah, 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 also. But for whatever reason. And so merchants and consumers starting to use crypto, but not in the way that we would hope. This is the key line here. All things considered, there's still a long way to go until crypto is used for its own merits in Venezuela. At the moment, it's often used as a tool for acquiring or liquidating fiat. So it's a route in to getting some fiat for merchants and for individuals. But nevertheless, that's still a use case. And I think it's reasonable to expect similar such indirect uses of crypto. So for example, Backed, when it launches in January, the new crypto platform from Intercontinental Exchange, the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, and its Bitcoin futures product launches on January the 24th, I think. But they are building out a platform that will be institutional facing, custody and offering trading to replace the kind of difficult over-the-counter situation that many high net individuals and corporations would have to contend with if they want to get into crypto, get a position. And it's also going to be consumer facing, and they've got Starbucks on board to help with that. And Starbucks has the biggest payments mobile app in the United States, just ahead of Apple Pay, which I found surprising, but there you are. And in that setup, Backed is going to be providing the service that gets the crypto into fiat, so people can use their Starbucks app to convert their crypto into fiat and use the fiat to buy stuff. So that's indirect use, but nevertheless it still puts crypto in front of more people. So that's quite important. And before we go, let's just see how we're holding up. Still looking good. 3,854. Let's hope we can get to 4,000 in the next few hours. But of course there may be a pullback, and look at that, it's all green all the way down the top 100. Only one or two exceptions. Gemini dollar, it's meant to be a stable coin, so what's going on there? Down 3%. Pundi X, yeah, it's doing right. 10%. Populous. There's some of those guys. Indirectly through a friend of a friend, Steve Williams, that runs that. They did have a market cap of 1 billion at their height, and down to 81 million at the moment. It's a platform for secondary market in invoices. And you don't get your invoices paid, you can go and sell it on the market, and someone else can go off and try and get the money. So it's an interesting project. Okay, yes, it's all looking very healthy. Monocoin, 46%. Okay. All right, folks. Check in with you people tomorrow. Happy days at the moment, anyway, in crypto land. So see you later, folks. Bye.